Welcome back, fellas. NFL playoff best ball drafts. We are going to be getting back at this. We had a number of Dallas Cowboys stacks go down in flames, as I'm sure many people did. Yeah, tons of min caches going on with the Dallas Cowboys stack. So we want to get back at it. We want to get back on the horse and get some exposure to some other teams. Of course, a huge new dynamic now with the Gauntlet Returns contest on Underdog Fantasy, with the Mitten Returns contest, the big Mitten Returns. There's no more buys, so we don't have to worry about avoiding the Ravens and avoiding, the 49ers and figuring out a way to advance those teams. You're kind of just picking the best players. And now, you only got 3 more rounds instead of 4 rounds to work with. Should be a ton of fun. And as always, of course, this video is brought to you guys by Underdog Fantasy. And if you want to check out Underdog, maybe you wanted to wait a week before you got into the playoff best ball streets, get a feel for it, see how it went. This is definitely the time to do it. There's nothing really else going on in fantasy football land. And if you guys are degenerates like us, this is something that you can take advantage of. So we're going to wait a second here. Maybe we'll answer Wanye's question and then we'll get into a draft. And if any of you guys want to join us, of course, we're going to do a Gauntlet Returns draft. So if you want to hop in there, we will be doing one of those. So Wanye is the first guy, I guess, asking a question in here. Jared said, rip all the Cowboys lineups, and Smooth Criminal saying, yo, what's good? Wanye, should I trade Tank Dell for Nico Collins in a 2025 second full PPR 1 quarterback?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on these two guys? I think they're pretty comparable in my opinion.
They're very comparable, and I'm pretty sure they're the same age. I'm pretty sure both are 1999s.
Let me actually take a look at that. I think Tank Dell is, he's 1999, and then Nico Collins is
March 19th, 1999.
Yeah. So Nico Collins actually a little older, but I mean, he's been in the NFL for like 3 years, and Tank Dell's been in the NFL for 1 season. So definitely an interesting trade. I would personally prefer Nico Collins, I think, in a vacuum, given the size that he has. It's a little bit more of a clean projection. Tank Dell, of course, the smaller guy. Maybe he has more injury concerns throughout the course of his career, but that's a nitpicky tiebreaker, to be honest. I think both of these guys are going to be kind of 1A. Yeah, like 1A, 1B for CJ Stroud going forward. I think there's not even really a point of arguing which guy's the number 1, because there's going to be games where each guy looks like the number 1.
Yeah, and again, I feel like a safer projection would be having Nico as the 1, given that he showed it throughout the season, whereas Tank Dell, as encouraged as I am with Tank Dell moving forward, only did it in a flash there. So with Nico Collins, we saw the rapport that he was able to develop with him. We were able to see the rapport in that playoff game. Who knows, man, by the Super Bowl, maybe they're just 100 yards per game, touchdown per game throughout the NFL playoffs and run through the AFC. Like, we don't know what happens.
Literally. So speaking of running through the AFC, Spicy, let's get this thing queued up. We're going to be entering a Gauntlet Returns draft. A $25 entry pays out $50,000 to first place. Definitely a fun way to get some stake in the game, some skin in the game in these playoff games. What are your thoughts overall on all of these games? Is there any that you look at, Packers, 49ers, Lions, Buccaneers, Ravens and Texans, or Chiefs and Bills, where you think, hey, the chalk's not going to hit? There's going to be something that throws a wrench in these playoff best ball drafts that we're about to do. For me, I'm looking at the 2 1 seeds, and my gut tells me that one of them is going to get upset. I don't know which one it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be Baltimore, because I think Houston's the slightly better team than Green Bay, and I think Baltimore is a worse team than San Fran, although when they played each other, obviously Baltimore dominated San Fran. I'm just curious, are we just expecting this to go chalk? It's going to be Baltimore, San Fran, Detroit, and Buffalo in the AFC and NFC championships, respectively.
Green Bay versus San Francisco is very fascinating because, I mean, if you're looking at it, San Francisco is like Green Bay with more talent up front is kind of how I describe it. Or like they're a more physical team. They're a more experienced team, but schematically they're very similar. And I'd make the argument that Green Bay has a decisive advantage at quarterback at this current point. If Jordan Love plays the way he did against the Cowboys, I'm not ruling out anything, to be quite honest. So it really depends. Again, historically you lean San Francisco because San Francisco's had their number in past matchups, but I mean, if Jordan Love goes out there and plays the way he did against the Cowboys, I would not be shocked if they were in the NFC Championship. It's kind of where I'm at with it. The leverage play, actually, it's funny. I like your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it was a little bit of a leverage play, playing in a dome. Really like the sequencing from Dave Canales, like we were talking off camera in those first few drives. I don't know, man. Like, something about Detroit, they had a good game. They won by 1 point, obviously, against the Rams, but they're still not this big powerhouse team, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. So where are you wanting to go with this?
Lamar.
I talked before we started going live that I wanted to get my Baltimore exposure up, but I think I can't. I think McCaffrey should be the 101 still, to be honest. So
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I personally would go with McCaffrey here.
The only problem is you lose on a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, to be honest. I'll pair him with somebody on the back end.
Fair. Okay.
So basically, we're going with Christian McCaffrey on the NFC side of things. So quarterback options are probably going to be, somebody like a CJ Stroud or who's the other matchup? And they can't, you're not going to get Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. So I guess you're kind of pigeonholed into going with CJ Stroud here. So maybe we even want to star him because I think that's kind of the play that we're going for. So to my point, again, I think that the biggest upset spot could be Houston over Baltimore. The Sharps actually agree with me that 60% of the money is on the Houstons against the spread. In terms of like money lines, like the biggest upset, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as you said, the Sharps are quite on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got Notorious Fantasy here at the 1-6-201.
Sorry, Giotto, did you mishear me? I didn't say I was picking Green Bay. I said if their path to victory is Jordan Love going off like he did against the Cowboys, I wouldn't rule it out. Obviously, I'm taking San Francisco, all things considered. Like, what are we doing, man?
For sure. And the other thing, too, is like we got to remember that the playoffs are kind of like just the Wild West right now. Like,
you have a quarterback that's playing hot.
Anyone can win these games. There's no, I don't look at any of these teams and say these are ham and eggers that can't win.
Like, oh, cool. Like, this team's going to blow this team up by 14. You can't say that at all. Even if you're super confident.
Okay, let's we got to make a pick here. So,
okay.
I say we're going to be going with Stroud, so we want to avoid Baltimore. I say we go Diggs here.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't really have an option. Like, Ayuk and Kittle went off the board.
I think we got to start taking quarterback in the first round because, like, it's bleak.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because you got to stack up like a weaker quarterback, but I don't think it's impossible to do. So, looking at the rest of the board here, I think we got to go Collins most likely, and then go with Stroud in the next round after that.
Yeah, and by the way, again, I'm not saying Dallas is San Francisco. I'm saying a big C can get upset when a hot quarterback comes in and outplays their quarterback.
Nick's going to go with Goff by the looks of it, I would imagine. So we'll go with Nico here and hope that Stroud falls back to us. I would assume Nick is going to be rational here and go with Jared Goff and pair him with his Amon-Ra, but we've seen crazier for sure. But yeah, anybody can win, man. Like, honestly, I could see the Texans beating the Ravens. I could see the Packers beating the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, the spreads dictate that both of those teams should win. They're both almost 10-point favorites. But at the same time, I do think that the teams it's going to be competitive games pretty much across the board. There's no Pittsburgh Steelers that snuck through to the divisional round that are going to get smoked.
Yeah.
Would you trade the 103 and 203 for the 102 and 301 12-team Superflex Dynasty? I personally wouldn't. I don't think, honestly, like, unless you were like building out
three picks of startup value.
Yeah, like startup value wise, I think we're talking about pretty similar projections, 103 and 102. But let's say you're in a position where you already have a loaded quarterback core. You have Josh Allen, you have CJ Stroud and Brock Purdy or something, and you're like, I need to get Marvin, and Marvin's going to go 102 because the rest of your wide receiver core is built out or whatever. I'm not going to fault you for paying, Troy Franklin versus Jalen Polk at the 301 just to make sure you get Marvin. Like, I don't think that's a horrible play there, but the 103 and 102 in terms of overall startup value should be quite comparable in terms of stuff there. So
we going Singletary here?
What's up?
Singletary?
Yeah, Singletary probably makes the most sense. We could take the sliding value in Kelsey and go for the one-off performance maybe and hope that that's what you need to get out of round one. But
we already have Diggs though, so I mean,
we do already have Diggs, but I think this is a good ADP value, which is why I'd be tempted to do it.
I just don't think we get Singletary back.
Yeah, let's get Singletary here. We'll get Singletary, but I don't know. I think we've all seen how the first round works. If you guys were doing playoff best ball drafts, you can see that a guy like Aaron Jones, who just went off the board, a guy like Jake Ferguson, who obviously had a monster game. These can be the pieces you need to advance a team, and you have to be wary of that in rounds 1, 2, and 3 because the competition now is shrinking. There's going to be everybody's got live players because it's a returns contest and not that kind of thing. So the player you need, even if you only get one game out of them, they can help you really get to the next round. And I'm more willing to sacrifice players and go for dead players if I need to. But at the same time, the other side of the coin is everybody's going to be having better teams in the finals. And if you can get a San Fran Houston final, you want as many San Fran and Houston players as possible.
Yeah. So right now we have the San Fran setup here where if we can get one more Houston, we could have San Francisco either in the Super Bowl or as our NFC team. So we could still also build out a backdoor NFC correlation as long as we fill with 4 Houston players.
Yeah. So do we want to play? Do we also want to play the Tampa Bay upset potentially?
I don't mind that either. I think that's a good pivot option, either Tampa Bay or Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, we can't do Green Bay though because we have McCaffrey.
We have McCaffrey. Yeah, I think Tampa Bay is a logical one. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Godwin here then. Maybe I think that makes the most sense.
I dig that. I'm assuming Mike Evans and Rashad White are probably long gone.
Evans and White are off the board, but we could get really crazy with this as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, Cade Otton. I mean, he had a pretty good game a couple weeks ago for you guys now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's
pretty decent
nice
game.
Little,
we could. I mean,
nice
I want to get one more Houston player. Do we want to go with Schultz with our next pick, or do we want to punt the Houston player, grab like Jawan Jennings or something, and get crazy with the Houston player and go with like, John Mechie or Brevin Jordan or somebody like that?
Like if you're gonna do it, I would say probably Brevin because you're playing the upside there. Oh, maybe Schultz misses time. Otherwise, I think I want to secure the Houston because I would rather have the strongest Houston correlation that I can, knowing that there's going to be other teams at the top that have strong correlations for San Fran, for KC, that might have a little bit of backdoor Houston, but won't have the same type of horses if Houston were to go on a run.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay, so do we want to go Schultz here? Is that probably our best option? We could play the one-off Jaden Reed if we wanted to, but I think Schultz is probably the best option here.
Yeah, I like Schultz here. So now we're pretty set on Houston. We have 4 pieces there correlating. If we wanted to backdoor a 5th, we realistically could, or we can go maybe Jawan Jennings falls. That would be a very, very good piece too.
Jennings. Yeah, let's see what we can get weird
Jordan
on the
Mason's
San Fran
interesting
side of things.
Ronnie Bell's caught in some catches.
I think
too.
Danny Gray is an interesting way to get weird too because he's like a 4-3 speed guy. It's possible that he just catches a long touchdown or something like that.
They have Willie
in
Snead.
One of these games.
They have Willie Snead.
I didn't even know Willie Snead was still in the league, to be honest. Ray McLeod is also the type of guy that could provide a good one-off too, because I believe he's their punt returner as well. So he could return a punt or something like that. That could be a really unique piece to get in.
Yeah, I agree.
I would like to get definitely one more San Fran player that's not Jordan Mason, ideally. Because
hopefully Jennings.
Jennings is the guy that we're hoping falls here because it's a little slight bit of ADP value as well.
Okay,
yeah,
we
perfect.
got him.
Okay, so we grab Jennings there.
Yep.
Do we want to grab?
Do
we want to grab a one-off? I think we could grab Cade Otton here potentially.
Yeah.
He could be a good? I guess not a one-off because we have Godwin, but I think Cade Otton's a good option here.
I like Cade. Is Tucker Kraft on?
No, he's there.
Not a bad option last round. I like Cade here.
Yeah, let's go with Cade. I think if we were going to go with a Green Bay player one-off, I think Wicks makes more like a little bit more sense. But
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think I want to go weird San Fran with our last pick. I want to go like Danny Gray or Ray McLeod or something.
Sounds good.
All right, we got. Let's see what we got in the chat here. What's everybody saying? Jordan Love is him. Nate, of course, Packers fan. You love to see that. P2 the R says, I just traded Roschon in the 302 for Cup in a 12-team Superflex Start 10 best ball. Yeah, I mean, if you finished in second place, man, that's a sizable discount for Cooper Cup. That's somebody selling just to sell because he's old. And that sometimes, like, I hear people say this all the time, like, this is the time to buy veterans. And I don't always agree with that statement because I think some people are you have motivated sellers at this point and they're wanting more than they're actually worth. But sometimes you get players like this where they're like, hey, I didn't win the championship. I'm just going to liquidate every productive asset I have.
Yeah, and not to mention that's not even evaluating the risk factor of buying now. You're buying players for production. There's still an entire offseason of them either potentially getting hurt, potentially getting traded, or maybe they're asked to take a pay cut, or somebody in the NFL draft gets drafted.
Somebody retires too, like if you're buying Kelsey, for example.
Like there's a lot that can go wrong. So I'm always willing to pay maybe void the 85% discount or 85% cost now to pay the 100% when I know all the information. And maybe people might argue, well, you're missing. Yeah, let's just go with any of the correlators.
Let's go Danny Gray. I like Danny Gray as a weird one-off here.
Unavailable for the postseason.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Where's Ronnie Bell?
Remove. You
Ronnie
get
Bell
Ray
would have
Ray.
been
You
nice.
get Ray Ray. All right. Didn't know that. Good call.
Yeah. Because I think Ronnie Bell actually had some strong showings anytime they benched the starters too.
He did, but I kind of
Did?
like I think everybody's logic will go to Ronnie Bell as the weird one, and nobody will have Ray Ray. And if Ray Ray just returns a punt, that's 6 points that you get out of him. Maybe he returns a punt and he catches a pass for 23 yards in the Super Bowl, and you get 8.3 points out of a guy that nobody fucking has.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, looking at this team again, you got to get a little weird with these, man. Like everybody wants, San Fran Buffalo or whatever, but like it's difficult to actually do that. So what we end up doing here is we stack up Houston with Stroud, with Singletary, with Collins, with Dalton Schultz. And then we have correlators with Christian McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings, and Ray McLeod. So we got a 7-man Houston San Fran Super Bowl. That would be really,
7-man
unique,
with
I would
Tampa
say.
too.
And then we also have a Houston Tampa Bay Super Bowl because we have Devin Singletary as our main running back, and then Godwin and Cade Otton would both work itself out there. And then maybe Diggs is just the piece you need to get through round one. Like Diggs just goes nuclear or whatever. And we also have the ability that Diggs could give us 2 games because Houston obviously would play Buffalo in the AFC Championship if both teams won.
Yeah, I like how that worked out. I am curious to see what it would look like if we can make a main stack. So let's try that. Try a main stack.
Yeah. Let's see if we can start with a QB or get one like at least early on. I wouldn't mind getting a pick like towards the end of the first round, like 4 or something like that, to see if we could secure a quarterback first and then double back and grab a correlator on the in the second round. Because I think it's like you said, it's probably easiest to set up your quarterback stack first, given the way that the ADP is. But at the same time, like I do want to experiment
a lot of people are
with
going to be
trying
doing
to push
that
things if you can.
for sure. And I feel like because we were talking about McCaffrey's ADP. I feel like McCaffrey's the piece. If you're picking at the back end of the one and you could potentially correlate him with Brock Purdy, that would be the best way. The only problem is because they're both within the top 4 or 5 of ADP, like you're going to need some luck on your side.
Yeah, for sure. You can go ahead and hit the yes button there, Spicy. We gave some people some adequate time to get in. But yeah, a lot of people talking about, Green Bay as a guy, a good option to make a run here. My big money league, Jared says, is a keeper league. I won, so drafting 10th. I've got CD in the first, Nicole in the 16th. Who's Nicole?
Nico,
I guess. Nico Collins in the 16th and Dell in the 17th. I have to choose only 2.
I mean, you're still taking CD.
Yeah, you're still probably going to take Lamb because you're going to get a little bit of ADP value on that. I don't think it's outrageous to just say, hey, I'm just going to take the 2 Texans wide receivers and take the value on them. If I had to pick one, I would probably take Nico in the 16th as of right now, but that you got all off season to decide that, obviously. So
the tone, baby.
Yeah, and I agree, Cody. I'm not on the page to say that
I would
Love
say
on
so.
his best day isn't like I think Brock Purdy on his best day is as good as Jordan Love on his best day, honestly. Like, I mean, Purdy doesn't have the same level of arm talent and that kind of stuff that Jordan Love does, but we've seen Purdy put up some serious fucking fireworks in these big games.
No doubt, but I mean, what I saw Jordan Love do with his receiving core versus what I've seen Purdy do with his, like, I think we have to count that in as well.
I think you're discounting how good Green Bay's receiving core is, man.
It's good.
I don't think
a lot
it's
of
just
number
Jordan
2s.
Love elevating the play of those guys.
Sure.
I think individually, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson,
they
Luke
don't have
Musgrave,
a single
and
weapon
Tucker
that's
Kraft
better
are
than
all good players.
They don't have a single player that's better than the San Francisco top 4 as in terms of receiving talent.
Yes,
they have a lot
that's
of
fair,
solid
but
options.
we've also seen plenty of teams go on big runs and win the Super Bowl even just based on a collective talent group, not necessarily one specific stud.
And that's not what I'm.
That points
that's not
to
what
how
I'm arguing,
good
though.
San Fran's offense is because they all are individually very talented and collectively they're very good as well. But at the same time, like Green Bay, like nobody's the number 1, but that also it makes it difficult to game plan for them because they can all kind of hurt you.
No, and I get that as well. And I'm more so just saying that's why I think it's more impressive what Jordan Love's doing is although I rate a lot of those wide receivers, I rate a lot of the skill position talent that they have. They don't have a single guy like a Kittle, like a Deebo Samuel, like a Brandon Ayuk, like a Christian McCaffrey, I would say.
Yeah.
So it makes it more impressive, I would say.
So I really hope Purdy falls here and Mahomes goes because I have, yes,
Debo,
thank God. I have so
Ayuk.
much Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs on my own team. So I am really kind of avoiding Kansas City here because I got plenty of exposure to them already. So it sucks that we can't get like multiple of these guys. Of these 3 players, who do you like the most?
Okay, well, we'll see what Anthony goes
between the two receivers, most likely.
I think I like Debo because you have more avenues of him to have spike weeks, and I feel like he's more
not to
likely to be a guy
mention
you need.
if Ayuk scores, Purdy's getting the points, which is good. But Debo can score that only Debo gets the points, right? Because he rushes the ball and that kind of thing. So yeah, let's go with Debo here.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
Also, Pittsburgh payment plan. You need to shorten your name because the size of your box is pissing me off.
Yeah, it's a huge box.
Yeah, pun intended.
It's a very wide box.
It's a wide box right there. So we got a couple other questions in the chat here. IDUP says, have you graded Odunze yet? So I tweeted out the other day that, I was grading Marvin and I was grading Neighbors and I hadn't graded Odunze yet. I have graded Odunze. I graded him yesterday. What players in recent classes would you compare him to as a prospect? So in terms of his like actual grade of where I actually graded him out as, relative to other prospects, his grade, let me actually pull it up here, was slightly behind that of Drake London and Garrett Wilson, but slightly ahead of, let me see who it was, Traylon Burks, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jordan Addison, and Jalen Waddle. So those type of guys that were like more top 25 talents in my grade, I had Odunze kind of among that group and actually of the upper end of that group, but he wasn't quite to the level when I watched him on film of a Garrett Wilson or a Drake London, and definitely, a slight tier behind Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison as well.
Yeah, which makes sense.
But Odunze, in terms of like comparison, so I talked about the Michael Pittman Jr. plus kind of comparison. I like the first time I watched him. The one guy I actually kind of saw a little bit of the second time through was a little bit of a smaller version of Mike Evans, just in the way that he wins. Because he's very strong, he's very physical, and that's exactly how Evans wins. I love James Cook here. I think this is the play right here.
I was gonna say James Cook or Gus. I'm down with James.
I mean, Diggs went, but honestly, I don't really care because I think
I have so many Niners Bills Super Bowls, man.
I don't actually. So I'm totally cool getting this as the person that fronted the cash for these drafts to Spicy.
Yeah, no, that's what's up. No, I'm cool.
Okay, so we played the San Fran, like we don't really have an immediate guy that we can go to in this. I mean, I suppose we can reach out, but I think we can punt him. I actually like Montgomery or Kelsey here. Not Kelsey actually, because we're gonna lose him in round 1.
I'm good with Montgomery or Laporta.
Let's go Laporta. Let's go with Laporta.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it.
I mean, Gibbs and Montgomery are just going to eat into each other. So I'll
we could always go with like an Aaron Jones, or I mean, Aaron Jones actually listed at 24 ADP, a cheap running back to get us by in that first week.
Rashad White maybe, or maybe not Rashad White, but we could punt back to Singletary on the other side and hope that he sneaks through, or even like a Justice Hill or something.
Hopefully, Big Dalton falls to us. If not, where are you leaning like a Shakir? Like where you?
I would go with Shakir 100%. If Dalton doesn't fall back to us.
That's what. By the way, I will never complain about getting more Bills ownership in these contests.
For sure.
They're a very fun team to build.
What else do we got? Shout out to Notorious Metaphorical. I don't even know what that means.
Gawk 9000.
Don't even know what that means.
Okay,
logic is way off. I mean,
you're acting like I said Green Bay was gonna go in and beat them. I just said there's a possibility.
Like we're trying to paint a path in which Green Bay does win the game.
Get the fuck out of here, Giotto.
I'm assuming that Giotto is a 49ers fan, most likely. But
settle down, buddy.
IDUB says, "What would you be?" Okay, we're on the clock. I'll answer this after.
Dalton Kings.
Yeah, Kincaid's the easy pick here for sure.
Yep. Is this the guy? Wait. Is Anthony the guy that has the fucking Josh Allen? Because if we go with Shakir this next pick, yeah, so he doesn't have him. If we go with Shakir, that guy who took Allen's probably like, what the fuck, man?
Who, Luke?
Yeah, who has him? Is it Luke? No, is it Pittsburgh payment plan? Okay, no. It's the tone.
The tone.
Sorry, the tone. Oh my God. What the fuck? 14th overall Baker?
What is this guy doing? What on earth is this guy doing?
He's setting the tone, maybe. Shakir.
Okay, so one thing that we could do here is take... Oh, actually, yeah, let's just go with Shakir. I was going to say we could have gone with like Odell or something and like gotten a one-off because we don't have anything in that side of the AFC game. But I'm also down
for Elijah next pick if he falls.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell would make some sense for sure.
Is there?
Okay, so
Let's see if he
What
sets
would
the
you be
tone.
willing to add to the 105 to move up to the 102/103 in a 12-team PPR Superflex Dynasty? So are you referring to a rookie draft or a startup? I'm assuming you mean a rookie draft, but in a rookie draft to go up from 105, presumably you're talking about like Odunze, Jaden Daniels, or Brock Bowers to get up to 102, 103 to secure Drake May or Marvin Harrison. I would be willing to add probably like a late first rounder this year or next year, but if I can get it for less than that, I'm going to. Like if you can sell the 202 and a 4 or something like that to get up, I would do that.
Yo, he took Dalvin at 35, by the way.
What is this guy saying, bro? Like, what is this guy saying?
There he is. Sorry.
Pittsburgh payment plans box is just all over the place.
And just
man.
a huge box.
Just a huge fucking box.
That's a big time box.
Okay, so we want to go Elijah here at 41 if he's there?
Yeah, if he gets sniped, where are we pivoting is the question. Do we go Gabe?
I mean, probably Gabe Davis, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would say.
I kind of like the idea of fading Davis altogether, though, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, that would only be like if we need to get that backdoor correlation. But if we get Elijah Mitchell, I feel pretty confident. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I like Mitchell. I don't know. Okay, go with Mitchell here. Do we take Davis if he's there at 44?
I'll let you Galaxy Brain if you want a Galaxy Brain here.
What's up?
If you want a Galaxy Brain and wait on like Dawson Knox, I don't hate that as well.
Yeah, so Clyde goes there. I mean, there's not like the problem with fading Davis here is there's not like a glaring option that makes sense. I guess we could go Dalton Schultz because we haven't played that game at all. Yeah. Or we could go with Juwan Jennings as well.
I think I just like getting Gabe Davis, to be honest. Because like getting him at this ADP let's get Davis. Feels nice.
It looks like he's probably going to miss this week, which kind of sucks having like a dead player in round one. Yeah, he has been ruled out officially, but
now we finish off
week, or even if we get him just for the Super Bowl, like I mean, he has
two good one-offs.
Catch a good long touchdown, right?
Like, who are the running backs left? I'm curious. Like, are there anybody's that's like a good one-offs that can pay off?
Use check. Okay. I don't mind that. Honestly, I actually don't mind that at all.
Use check. I mean, we have Elijah Mitchell, so that would be backward.
We could play Dameon Pierce.
Could play Dameon Pierce. Could play the Dameon Pierce game also. What wide receivers are available? Because maybe we do one running back and one receiver. Like
I also don't mind Ty Johnson at all. I actually do not mind Ty Johnson at all.
We can go Ty over Pierce then if you're down.
Yeah, I actually prefer Ty, I think.
Okay. Because we do need a good one-off here too. Kind of feels cheap on Justin Watson. I'm not gonna lie.
Is there a Ravens running back that we can play still, or is everybody gone?
Justice Hill's probably long gone. Baltimore. Bateman.
Yeah, no, everybody's...
Bateman. What?
Bateman's still available. We could play Bateman here as a one-off.
I'm cool with it.
I think that's good. Just value, honestly. He's just a difficult guy to build onto this team at fucking 15 picks past ADP. Let's just take Bateman here. We have no way of playing that game, so
yeah.
Is Bateman good? Not really, but we'll take it.
Yeah, for sure.
And we want to make let's go Ty. I think Ty is the best play here.
So we're just mega stacking. Let's go, baby.
Oh yeah, we're mega stack. I mean, you kind of have to a little bit, and you also have find ways to get unique. It's less. I would say this gauntlet returns, mitten returns, and stuff is definitely less strategic than playing it through the wild card round and stuff because you know. Super Bowl odds dictate that San Fran and Baltimore are likely to go to the Super Bowl just because they have home field advantage and they're favored heavily this week.
In both the next few games, they will be.
It's harder to get a team that's a unique San Fran Baltimore in this contest than it would have been in the wild card round because, just not many people advance San Fran Baltimore in general.
By the way, I'm contemplating. I wish I could make my name bigger so I could get a big box like Pittsburgh Payment.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
What can I get for either Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts in Dynasty? The answer is pretty much everything, and it's still probably not enough for those guys. So, I mean, you could get a lot for those dudes, but I'm not selling them unless somebody offers me like Jordan Love and 2 firsts. Like that's like the type of package I need to move off of those guys. Like I either want a quarterback back with a lot of good capital on top of it, or if it's just no quarterback back, like you better give me a stud asset like Jamar Chase, 2 1s and a 2 or something.
Like for reference, this even felt cheap at the time, but I ended up getting I gave Josh Allen and Josh Downs, and I got Dak Prescott and 3 first-round picks. And that kind of felt like Could I have gotten a little bit more? Like,
yeah, you
know what I mean?
never
Like,
ever feel good about trading these players away. Like I
yeah.
got, what did I get for you for Jalen Hurts? I got Justin Fields,
And
George Kittle, and a
for
third
Hurts and
rounder that
Goddard.
became Brock Purdy. Like,
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
I got lucky with the Purdy trade,
Yeah.
obviously, but like Justin Fields, George Kittle, and a third rounder is not enough for Jalen Hurts. So
Yeah.
I got lucky that Purdy was that third rounder because I flipped him that third to you for Purdy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I misplayed the Purdy bit, but I mean, I still feel good overall.
Nico Collins or Rashee Rice in Dynasty, dog, flip a coin. Like, honestly,
I
don't
think that's
care.
like I think that's my
either
wide
one.
receiver 14 and 15.
Yeah, like either one is a great option in Dynasty. There's honestly even no point debating it. Like I'm starting to get to that point with Dynasty wide receiver rankings where I honestly just like if they're in the same tier, I don't give a shit who you want to rank higher.
Yeah.
Whatever you
agreed.
value. Rashee Rice, you expect him to maybe get better. He's attached to a slightly better quarterback, but Stroud is great too. Maybe the tiebreaker there is Nico Collins has Tank Dell to compete with, and Rashee Rice doesn't have anybody in the immediate future, at least, to compete with. Like whatever floats your boat. I think Nico is the slightly better option, but it's not a big difference.
Let's go. Let's rip
okay,
it.
let's rip one more of these gauntlet returns, and then we'll hop out of here. Just a quick stream today, and then we will have you guys covered with a video tomorrow. I think we're going to roll with the wide receiver recap from the 2023 season, breaking down everything that we did for the running back video, which is, our hits and misses, the playoff or the best ball win rates of all those players and the dynasty landscape and how it's kind of shaping out. Of course, a lot different at wide receiver than it was at running back. So that one should be a pretty fun video to break down.
Yep. Agree with you there. Let's rip it.
Okay, what do we got here? So I took your advice in packaging up draft picks and wide receivers to get more elite options. Think I will go for the wide receivers and maybe Bowers if he was there. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, no worries, man. I don't recall what your questions were, but glad we were able to help.
Yes.
IDub says, do you think this year was Puka's ceiling, or do you think there's potential for a cup level season in year two?
It's hard for me.
It's really hard to say that a rookie wide receiver's best season is their first season, but that's been true of Jamar Chase so far. So, I mean, it's not outrageous to say that this was his ceiling. Like a top 6 fantasy wide receiver, rookie receiving record. It's possible he never does this again. Like I will admit that's in the range of outcomes.
It's just hard
I think
to project
the projection
anybody
and the
level.
range of outcomes is that he's probably a wide receiver 1 projection for the next couple of years.
It's hard for me to project anybody potentially reaching that level, to be quite frank. Like, even though I really believe in Puka Nacua and I think he could be a, perennial 1,300 to 1,600 yard wide receiver like he's shown this year, seeing somebody get to that 1,700, 1,800, 1,900 level, like, how many guys in the last 5 years have had over 1,700 receiving?
Well, there's a reason that Antonio Brown and Julio Jones and Calvin Johnson and the guys that actually do that, Justin Jefferson, are future Hall of Famers, right? Like, There's a reason. Like, you just don't do that often.
Like, 2 in the NFL did it this year with CeeDee Lamb and with Tyreek Hill. Like,
yeah, and Tyreek did it last year too. So, like, I mean, again, another future Hall of Famer probably in Tyreek Hill. So it's difficult to just say that Puka's just going to go on this massive run, but he could. I mean, all indications so far is that he's been very, very good.
For sure. By the way, let's hope Danielio doesn't ruin it here.
I will say, I think if we get McCaffrey here, because Purdy goes, I don't mind the idea of grabbing a Monroe at 8 and then playing Goff as the quarterback.
Yeah, I don't mind that either.
Okay, McCaffrey went, so we probably want to go Purdy here, right?
Purdy, yeah. Purdy, and then we get Purdy with a pass catcher for once.
So much for varying our exposure, right? We get in here and we grab 3 more San Fran stacks.
Probably going to end up correlating them with Buffalo, too, because that's what always happens, I bet, it seems.
Yeah, let's go. Perfect. We get to go Ayuk this time.
Let's go, baby.
I was going to say, even if Ayuk and Debo were both there, what we would have done. I would love if we could get like a Ravens corollary piece here. It's just going to be hard, I think.
Like
Flowers is going to be gone. I would like to try and get a Ravens exposure if possible, if we can here.
Ravens or Chiefs, because it feels like we always go Bills.
Well, yeah. I mean, I actually have quite a bit of.
Do you have a lot of Chiefs?
Chiefs exposure in my actual, like in my gauntlets that are still alive and shit. Like my best teams are Chiefs teams.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
For some reason, I was just all in on the Chiefs. So
let's go. Even though I remember when we were literally drafting them, you said like, I'm not going to be drafting any Chiefs. And then
it was hard not to, man. They were such an easy backdoor AFC stack to go with.
Yeah, facts. And speaking of two Chiefs, do you go off the board here? So it's going to be pretty unlikely. Can we get Kelsey?
Someone please do us a favor and let Zay Flowers fall. Like, I want to get one San Fran.
Oh, if Zay
Baltimore
falls,
if
that's
possible.
fucking special.
It'd be ridiculous. He's not going
Luke,
to.
big
Yeah,
shots. He took a big shot.
Why would you? Okay. He could have grabbed Jahmyr Gibbs there and stacked up the NFC side.
I guess we're going with Gibbs. Kidding.
No, we're not going.
We need
Gibbs.
an AFC correlator.
Nico. I mean, I guess we're going James Cook if he slides.
Yeah, fuck.
It's the best projection by far.
Or do you go with Gus and Andrews?
We could go Gus and Andrews. I wouldn't hate that. I hope this guy just takes James Cook and makes our decision easier.
Yeah.
He's probably going to take Gibbs. Yeah. This guy's drafted a min cash right now. So
you got James Cook, Gus and Andrews?
Yeah, I mean, Gibbs is just so fucking enticing right now.
If he falls back to the 20th, I won't argue it. But
okay, yeah, let's go with Gus first, and then we'll see if Gibbs falls back. Because if Gibbs falls back, I think we should probably take him. To be honest, okay, he went.
Yeah, there you go.
Goff
so then we
can
just go Andrews.
Yeah, let's go Andrews here.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have Andrews this week.
Round.
So let's try and do the ping pong likely. If we can get a big game out of likely this week, and then hopefully AFC Championship and Super Bowl, we get the Andrews weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I like how we started this though. We got 4 correlating pieces.
Yeah, I mean, finally I get some Baltimore exposure.
Finally.
Like I've got 6 gauntlet teams through that can field a full starting roster. I got more teams than that through, but a lot of them are like dead Cowboy stacks. I got one team through in the little gauntlet. I actually only drafted one draft in that contest, and it got through. And it was a naked Brock Purdy with no other quarterback. So I don't know how I snuck that one through, but I did. Both of my big mitten teams were Cowboy stacks, so those are dead. But for the most part, like my exposure lies in Detroit, Kansas City, San Fran, and Buffalo, and then one Houston stack. So I have basically no exposure to either of Tampa Bay or Baltimore, to be honest. I have one team that has a naked Baker Mayfield on it. That's actually a Detroit team also, which would be a weird galaxy brain way of getting Jared Goff through if he has a bad game, and I get a big Baker game to push Goff through into the NFC Championship. But I would say mainly my fandom, of course, is going to be rooting for the Buccaneers. But if the Buccaneers lose, the silver lining is that a lot of my exposure in playoff best ball is Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, so either way, you're winning there. Your team makes the NFC Championship, or you got to Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. Part of me is like, do we even want to make the NFC Championship to go and get blasted by fucking San Fran?
Fuck, man. I mean,
I'm never going to say no to my team making the NFC Championship here, like realistically.
I mean, I'd fucking
we'll probably get popped by San Fran in the next round.
I would die for that at this point. Fuck, man.
OBJ going here would be tragic before our pick.
Sick. Man.
Come on. Who does this guy want? Okay, Stroud. Good. Thank you. OBJ, easy pick, and hopefully Likely is our next one. This guy could be a cuck and take Likely. I would really kind of fuck us a little bit. Jeez. Kincaid and Likely, you asshole. Okay. So what do we got here? We probably need a running back production piece, to be honest. Is there any running backs on the board, Spicy, that are like good? We could go. We could Elijah grab Mitchell. Clyde next pick, maybe, just to get some.
Elijah Mitchell can pay off against Green Bay.
He could. I don't mind grabbing Shakir as a one-off, actually, right here.
I don't mind that either.
Let's grab Shakir. Let's grab Shakir because Davis isn't playing. Shakir's been pretty good so far. I think he's a good one-off, and obviously they can't play until the AFC Championship. And if we're kind of going chalk on the Super Bowl odds right now with San Fran, Baltimore, and Buffalo. I believe those are the 3 highest Super Bowl odds teams. So I don't mind doing that as well. It's a pretty strategic way of playing this.
Like, this is basically, if this team gets through to the NFC Championship, it looks really strong. Or to the championship round, it looks really strong because you're assuming Andrews is coming back by then. But
can you go back to running back? I just want to see if there's any way that we can get any guys through here. Like, so we got Elijah Shakir. Mitchell. You start Ty Johnson. I definitely want to keep him in the back burner because he's a
Jordan Mason has to be started.
Jordan Mason, and Elijah Mitchell are both good options. I don't think Mitchell will make it back to us, but
I hope he does.
He's a great option.
Really hope he does. That'd be big time.
Yeah, you want to start Godwin too, because we haven't played that game anyway yet either.
Who else has the San Francisco out of our draft board, Spicy? Press the green button. Okay, so McCaffrey team, Danielio. He picks before us. Fuck, eh? Okay, so we're probably
Yeah,
gonna get
he's gonna.
sniped.
Well, he has McCaffrey though. He
He
might
has
not go with
McCaffrey,
Mitchell
maybe.
unless he's
Maybe.
gonna play the handcuffings away to get unique if the field's avoiding it.
I mean, let's hope that's not the case. We just need. Come on, the tone. Set the
Okay,
tone, baby.
Romeo.
Don't do
Don't
it,
do it.
Danielio.
He's got
Don't
3
do
running
it.
backs already. Thank you. Elijah Mitchell falls back to us. You love to
We
see
are
it.
so fucking live, baby. We are so
live.
live.
So
Holy shit, that's a squad.
do we take Jennings here too?
Just close off the Super Bowl. Now the question
we could take Jennings. We have a number of options here. We could take Jennings. We could ping pong Davis week as well. If Shakir and Davis ping pong good weeks.
What other one-offs do we have too?
Well, we have Shakir, and we intend to take Ty Johnson later too. So I don't mind taking Gabe Davis here either.
I don't mind either. So you'd be playing for the AFC Championship. I don't want to get too cute because we have a lot. We're already missing Andrews too.
Yeah, let's go Jennings. Let's go Jennings.
Yeah, okay. And then we'll get our advanced pieces in the last 2 rounds here.
Yeah, my only thing with doing that Jennings pick is Jennings is drafted in 100% of rooms, right? So if you don't have Jennings and you have Gabe Davis as a ping pong week instead, and then you grab Ronnie Bell and he's the guy that you need.
If Gabe Davis was playing this week, I would have completely agreed.
I know it's hard to forfeit a week when you don't want to do that.
And we already have Andrews
as well. We could have done Knox.
That's fair too.
Ty Johnson went?
What?
The fuck is that?
Okay.
Okay, well, I mean, we could go Lenny later on.
Uncle Lenny.
Go back to I still think we need one more running back. I think we're pretty light
go back
there.
to the production pieces at running back. Like I still like Clyde Edwards-Helaire if he falls.
Yeah, you're hoping you get one. He's the guy that advances you out of round 1, probably.
Yeah.
Or Shakir is, and Clyde makes it to the AFC Championship.
I also don't hate like Dylan or Damian.
I don't hate Juszczyk either, to be honest, and Latavius Murray.
I mean, if we didn't have Elijah Mitchell, I'd be more in on Juszczyk. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Clyde's a really solid pick if he falls. He got like 8 carries last week too.
I mean, if Gabe falls,
one in. If Gabe falls, that's a completely different story. Fuck.
If Gabe falls, we take Gabe, and then we just hope that some.
Well, if Gabe falls, we take Gabe, and then maybe even Clyde falls too, because the guy picking at the tournament has 3 running backs.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see what happens here.
Question is, where are these guys going if they don't go for that though? This guy just took Dylan.
Daniello. I can see like Cade Otton going off the board here.
Yeah, or MVS maybe if he has Chiefs.
Yeah. Any Packers left for this guy?
He might go Dameon Pierce here. He has a bunch of Texans.
I can see Dameon Pierce for sure. Dameon Pierce would probably be the logical pick.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of backs. He goes Knox. So yeah, Gabe Davis is a nice little. We'll take the value on that.
If we can get this team through to the second round, we are fucking live. Holy crap.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're already making a pretty concerted. I don't want to. I don't know if I want to go Clyde though, because we're already making a pretty consolidated bet on the Bills a little bit.
We are, but at the same time, you just need Clyde to pay off in that first week.
That's true, but like I think Latavius can pay off as well, and or Fournette even.
I don't feel as comfortable projecting that.
Okay, let's roll with Clyde. Let's roll with Clyde.
Like I don't mind the Pierce call, but then you also have the Ravens.
Spike week out of Clyde in round 1. That's the thing that makes me nervous about that is like he hasn't been playing all that recently, so like his contingent value that Pacheco gets hurt isn't really baked in unless he gets hurt in this game.
He got 8 carries this past week, and we saw that when they needed to, they put the effort on the ground game. Like we saw, I think the backfield.
We just need him to siphon a goal line touch, and maybe Pacheco to suffer like a injury that keeps him out like a quarter and a half of game time, and Clyde just absorb some work.
Yeah, or maybe catches like a screen pass on the goal line or some fucking like stupid.
They could pull some geriatric shit like they usually do.
Yeah, we've seen it. The tone is back with the same shenanigans.
Yeah. Where would you recommend finding new dynasty leagues? Our Flock Discord would be the best place to do that. Definitely going to be some people there. The same shenanigans, yeah. Okay, so this is I really like this team actually.
I do too.
The running back position, not great, but we do have a number of good wide receivers. Round 1 is the challenging part here. We got to hit the nuts round 1 because we have no Andrews and no Gabe Davis in round 1. So
Odell Beckham like uncovering free for a deep touchdown would be huge.
Yeah, like we need first of all, this team goes down in flames if Purdy and Ayuk don't absolutely erupt this week against Green Bay. Like, that has to happen because that is our whole stack, basically.
What if Elijah Mitchell pays off out of everyone?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Like, I think Purdy and Ayuk need to erupt. Gus Edwards got to punch in too. Beckham's got to uncover for a long touchdown, and Shakir's got to be the guy that benefits with Gabe Davis out. That's probably the team that gets this through. Maybe
Pretty
you
much,
get a Clyde week or whatever as well. But I like this team. I think this is a team that actually has some potential here. So,
big fan.
Do we want to do one more, or do we want to just leave it at this? Let's do one more. I'll fire the other 25 there, Spicy. Let's do one more.
Let's do it.
So far we went San Fran, Buffalo, San Fran, Baltimore, and then what was the first team that we did? Houston, San Fran?
Yeah.
And then wasn't there another team in that? Houston, San Fran, Tampa, I think it was.
Tampa, yeah. We had 2 Tampas. We had Godwin and we had Otten.
Right. So we got Houston, San Fran, Tampa, and then we did just now we just did Baltimore, San Fran, and Buffalo, and then the second one was San Fran, Buffalo, and Detroit, I think. No.
Yeah. Detroit, yeah, because we had Laporta and we had Montgomery,
yeah, we had Laporta as our one-off there.
Yeah.
One-off Bateman as well. So yeah, I like the way that this is coming together. I'm starting to patch in my exposure a little bit to all these teams. Like, I don't know, what are your thoughts on, like, when you're doing drafts like this, just being so adamantly against Baltimore, for example? Like, my portfolio says I'm pretty against Baltimore. So what are your thoughts with, like, just sticking with that and hoping you're going to either feast or famine? Or,
I mean, for reference,
like, cover your ass a little bit and just build some well-constructed Baltimore teams that if Baltimore gets through, at least you have a good team in there.
Well, there's 2 sides of it. I mean, if you had that type of theory going into the wildcard weekend and you said, hey, I am going to fade every single Cowboy in drafts, you paid off. Maybe you grabbed Ferguson as a one-off, but you weren't basing your builds around it. So there's obviously upside here. It's just predicting a 7+ point favorite to go down. Like, you got to get a little
9.5 point favorite as well. And who also will have home field advantage against either Kansas City or Buffalo in the next round as well. Like, but, like, here's the thing though. When you take a risk like that and you're like, I'm adamantly against this 1 seed losing in the divisional round, and they do, that sinks so many other teams. And your teams will fucking just skyrocket as a result.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to, gamble,
you got conviction for it. I think this is the fun way of playing it, right? Because what's the point of playing these playoff best ball drafts to build an equal, balanced portfolio across all of these teams? Yeah, like, if you're building good teams, then you could be profitable. But I actually think a lot of the fun, especially if you guys are more like casual best ball players, is to take stances against teams and build your teams accordingly. It's like, I think that Baltimore is a little overrated, so I kind of want to take a little bit of a stance against them. Yeah. And as a result, I'm pretty heavy on Kansas City, Buffalo, and Houston.
I dig it.
And I wouldn't mind getting heavier on Houston here, to be honest, if the opportunity presents itself. Do we want to go with
Josh Allen? Has to be the pick.
Let's go with Josh Allen here. We have not built out a Josh Allen team yet.
Big Josh.
Yeah, I love Buffalo as a team to stack in these because there's so many ancillary pieces that I could talk myself into. There's like 5 receivers and 3 running backs and 2 tight ends that I can draft.
Yeah.
It's crazy that what you can do with these teams. So, yeah, like, dude, especially when Lamar's going 101 in these drafts, like, I really think if I don't believe that much in Baltimore, like, I would hate myself for being like, if Houston upsets Baltimore, or being like, I didn't plan for this. You know what I mean? Like, if I planned for that, then if I only have myself to blame if Baltimore shit stomps Houston by 30 points and then beats the crap out of Buffalo in the next round.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a tough spot, really, because I mean, like, if you are staunch like that and it does happen, like you said, like, you're getting a lot of payoff for that. Like, if you Green Bay players in the wild card round were going,
I want to take Ayuk
at the tail end of your drafts. I don't mind it. I
want to take Ayuk. I think I'm very much adamantly against stacking Allen and Diggs as just a default, unless Diggs falls a little bit. Because nobody's inclined to take Diggs now, but at the same time, somebody's probably going to. So
somebody's going to stack him with somebody's gonna, with San Fran probably. Yeah.
So we got to be really aware of this guy because we're stacking the same teams now.
Well, I mean, that guy's got no plan because he's going to
take James Cook now, which is going to suck.
He probably will.
Hopefully he trolls here and takes somebody else, but I think he's going to end up taking James Cook.
He might have to start building out his primary stack though.
Like Zay, Gus, he's going to take James.
You could go here. Gibbs and Goff.
Yeah, that's the tough thing is that he doesn't have a quarterback, right?
That's
So if
what
he
I
takes
mean.
James Cook here, like who's he gonna fucking? I guess you could grab like Goff later on. So he
Yeah,
went weak. Okay, so he's
that,
he's pivoting to that. So we'll take James Cook here, no
yeah,
problem.
very easy, James.
I wouldn't have went in that direction. I probably would have pivoted to Detroit, but
I'm not gonna lie, too. Like, if kind of this might sound like a hot take, but I kind of like Allen and Cook as like the pieces that I want from Buffalo to pay off.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
You
I
get
would rather
access
have
to
Allen. I would rather have Cook than Diggs, to be honest. I think his ADP should be higher.
you're getting access to basically all the touchdowns there because when they're on the goal line, it's
And
either
there's
going to
so
Josh
much
Allen
more
or
spread the ball out pieces in the receiving core than there is in the running back core.
yeah. No, I agree with that. Let's see what falls back here. We could get, I think Dalton Kincaid or Dave Montgomery probably has to be the next, unless Kelsey falls. Like, if Kelsey falls, do you take a one-off Kelsey to advance you through? Like,
if it was last year's Kelsey, maybe, but like he's not performing at that level anymore. Like I think he's kind of just a landmine, to be honest.
Might be.
Plus, I already have plenty of Chiefs exposure, and I'm very much okay with the amount that I have. I don't want any more.
Fair. That's fair, dog. I mean,
Dave I like
Montgomery
Mike as potentially a good one-off here, to be honest.
I don't mind Mike. I also don't mind Aaron Jones because it's harder to find running backs later.
I also just like stacking up. Well, we can't go Aaron Jones because we have Ayuk, so I don't mind. Or well, I guess we could go Aaron Jones as a one-off, but I kind of like grabbing Mike as the one-off here because we can still advance Mike to the NFC Championship against the 49ers there too.
Going with Mike, and then hopefully Dalton
we can build out. We can build out an onslaught of Buffalo like 4 or 5 pieces deep, and then two.
I don't trust Devin at all. By the way, he's gonna go. He has to go Stroud with one of these 2 picks. Like he has to.
Yeah, he does have to, but he's probably going to take Kincaid with one of them potentially.
If he goes with, dude, what if he stacks his AFC? This guy's going to probably take Mark Andrews.
Probably.
Andrews and Justice would be fucking fire.
No, he'll take Andrews and Beckham probably.
Oh, right. I forgot about Beckham. That's a fire start. I'm not going to lie.
I don't think it's out. If Kincaid goes, if he takes Kincaid, I think we should take Rachaad White.
I don't hate it. I mean, we have Evans, so
yeah, I think that's probably the smart play if Kincaid goes.
Yeah, and then he's gonna go. He has to go Andrews here. Oh, he's throwing.
Yeah, that's okay. That guy's playing for a min cash.
Okay. Where's this guy gonna go? He got his Stroud. Rachaad White. Okay,
White. I guess we go Kincaid then. Makes his decision easy for us.
All day.
Okay, so how many we got in the Super right now? We got four. Either San Fran or Tampa Bay as
hopefully
the
Shakir falls
representative here. So I want to prioritize Mitchell, I think.
Yeah, and Shakir. I think that's a solid.
Yeah, Shakir needs to be our next pick if he slides there, and then
we have
Mitchell
2 like
probably
back to back, right?
Huh?
We have 2 like between each other, or 4. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. This guy did pivot away from our stacks, which is nice, but he might still take Shakir. Or not Shakir, sorry.
That's actually the best case scenario because he's the only other person in the room with our stack exposure, and he's not continuing.
Yeah, he's not. He's going to take Godwin, which kind of sucks because I wouldn't mind punting Godwin to see if he slides back to us, but his ADP is too high. I don't think he will. We could grab Otten as the other buck to correlate Evans with.
I dig it.
Or we could get crazy too, really late in the draft and grab Dave Moore or something.
Or Trey Palmer.
Yeah, Trey Palmer wakes up feeling pissed off on a daily basis. So,
dude, let's go Shakir. Spicy.
Yeah, let's go Shakir. He's an easy pick here. I like Trey Palmer as our final pick. Let's just bookmark that now as our final pick.
Yeah, I'm digging it. Trey Palmer. I mean,
like Jordan Palmer. I was like the guy that trains quarterbacks.
Hey, hear me out, bro. If Trey Palmer wakes up feeling pissed off that day, he's going to catch a 60-yard bomb.
Yeah, literally, dude. He's also going to drop one too, because that also happened against New Orleans.
Jesus. Did he wake up feeling pissed off that day?
He did. He did actually catch a touchdown later that game, but he did also.
So he was even more pissed off because he dropped the first
Mitchell
one.
and Jennings both go off the board. That kind of sucks for us.
Cock.
Okay. We might need a one-off here, and I think Singletary is a good one.
I was just about to suggest Singletary.
Yeah, Singletary is a good one-off here because we don't have any exposure to that game.
All aboard.
We are 100% going to need to grab a late 49er as well, in addition to a late Buccaneer. So
Jawan Jennings and Gabe Davis.
I don't mind fading Jennings. The market's so certain that Jennings is the one-off that you need.
Gabe goes?
Yeah.
No
I
way.
honestly, I don't mind. I don't totally mind that. We already had a lot of pass catchers there. I don't mind grabbing Knox instead, potentially.
What does Burns' team look like? Or X13 earns? Just a whole lot of randomness. I respect it.
Yeah, that's a min cash right there with bad receivers.
Why did he take a second quarterback in this contest?
Dude, taking 2 quarterbacks in this contest is a monumental throw. Like
the only way you can convince me of doing that is if your 2 quarterbacks are Baker Mayfield and CJ Stroud.
Yeah, and the only way you can convince me that that's going to work is the quarterback scoring across the league is horrible this week. And like you need Baker to get Allen through, which doesn't make any sense still.
Yeah, agreed.
Because if Allen doesn't hit, you took him second overall. He's probably not going to, you know what I mean? Like it's just not going to pay off at that price tag. Like why take a fucking second quarterback?
Yeah.
Cade just went, which kind of sucks. Because he might have been interesting.
It looks like a Trey Palmer, baby.
Yeah, it's a Trey Palmer feeling pissed off type beat. I think we go Knox here.
Yeah, I don't mind Big Doss. Go with the Big Doss.
Yeah, we could go Schultz too. I mean, I don't think that's a horrible pick because we have Singletary, but
like, how many targets did Dawson Knox? I know he caught the touchdown this week.
Do we want to go? Okay, Schultz just went actually. I was gonna say, do we want to go with Schultz our next pick? But
okay, so he had 2 targets. He had 9 yards, but he caught a touchdown, so that was clutch.
Okay, what do we want to do with this next one? Do we want to go Ty Johnson maybe, or do we want to? We only have 2 more picks actually, so we got to take a 49er one off with this one.
I dig Ty and Trey.
Let's go Palmer first actually, because I think there's like less competition for the 49ers one-off randos. So let's go Palmer before our 49er.
Oh, right. We need a 9er, not a bill. My bad.
Yeah, we need a 9er still. So, I mean, we don't actually because we can't afford we can field a 5-man roster without it, but I think we should still have one because, you know, we might have dupes in the final.
I like Ronnie Bell, man. Like for our 49er when we get the chance.
Let's go there. So let's go running back and wide receiver here. Okay. I personally like Juszczyk as the one-off, to be honest.
I mean, we need a running back, so I don't hate that either.
I think he's super fun, too.
It's pretty interesting.
I also don't
mind catches a screen pass.
I think of the one-offs that I like the most, it's either Juszczyk, Mason, or Ronnie Bell. But like Ronnie Bell is another one of these guys that I feel like a lot of people just default to. I think it's crazier. Like even though their ADPs are slightly higher on these running backs, I think it's more like sane to take them.
Yeah.
No, like the wide receivers just dominate the production. I think the place that you concede is at running back, where Christian McCaffrey is just like, you know, the second half, they blow the doors off of Green Bay or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you have your correlating pieces, I do like having the correlating running back because with the wide receivers, their production, like you said, is going to take you over the top. And if you just have a running back that has a path to potential workload, and he does end up materializing into that workload, then you're going to have a lot of leverage on the field.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's basically the thesis of zero RB, and it's just explained.
Yeah, literally. So, do we want to go Mason or we want to go Juszczyk?
I'll let you pick it. Which one do you like? For what it's worth, Juszczyk has a higher ADP.
Yeah, I think it's the logic there is probably that Juszczyk has more standalone value.
Going to be on the field more.
Yeah, like you get I like Juszczyk for the same reason. I think you could get he runs a bang 8 on the goal line touchdown kind of situation where like that's his only catch of the game, but he gets 7 points in the Super Bowl, and that's what you need.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Let's do it. All righty. I mean, this is all about galbrating anyways and having some fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like this contest is real. Like this one especially is, I would say it's really challenging. But it is better for those of you guys that have like a smaller bankroll, to draft a couple mitten returns or draft a couple of gauntlet returns, because you're not going to be burning entries on teams that are just going to be dead.
Yeah.
But I think it's more lucrative to draft in the original gauntlet and the original mitten, just because it's harder to get the teams through, and that means a lot of dead teams are going to ease the pathway there.
100%. But we got 4 drafts in?
Yeah, 4 drafts in less than an hour. You love to see that timeliness. I'm probably going to get back to scouting some prospects after I think I'm going to go to the gym right now. But then after that, I'm going to scout some prospects more. I'm just finishing up Brian Thomas Jr. right now. And then I don't know, who do you think I should go to next? To be honest, I don't know if you do this too, but for me, I just want to watch the guys I want to watch and grade the guys that I want to grade. Like, I want to do those guys first. Like, I don't really care what the order is that most people have them graded. I just like, and the two guys that I really want to grade are Lad McConkey and Xavier Legette. So I think after I'm done Brian Thomas, I'm going to do those two guys and see how they come out. But I mean, rest assured, I think there's going to be probably 10, 13, 15 wide receivers with top 75 grades for me when it's all said and done.
Oh yeah, no, this is a absolutely stacked class.
For sure. Okay, so appreciate you guys for joining us. Again, a little impromptu stream here, breaking down some playoff best ball. Again, make sure to check out Underdog Fantasy. A lot of fun getting some stake in the game. To me, this is more fun than doing like spread bets on the Lions Buccaneers game or whatever. It's just it's a long-term bet. Long-term bets are always more fun. That's why all of us that are listening to this are fantasy football players. Any one of us could just place a bet on a team to win or a player to score a touchdown. But the long-term bet is why we play Dynasty. It's why we play Redraft and all that kind of stuff. So definitely check it out if you guys are interested. Link will be down below in the description. Make sure to stay tuned for tomorrow, and we'll probably be live at some point tomorrow as well before the 49ers and Packers game or whatever game is first. I don't remember if it's Texans, Ravens, or if it's 49ers, Packers.
I'll take a look. I believe, yeah, like you said, it's probably.
I think it's Texans, Ravens first.
Texans, Ravens, 4:30. Packers, Niners at night. Bucks, Lions, 3:00 tomorrow, and then Chiefs, Bills, obviously as the 6:30 quote unquote night game.
Yeah, on Sunday, you mean? But yeah,
Yes,
we'll probably be live around 3:45 Eastern tomorrow if you guys want to tune in on that, give our predictions and that kind of stuff. But yeah, appreciate you guys for joining us. Peace out. We'll talk to you soon.